We was here before anybody else. And what a lot of people thinking that we only reached in 2,000 years or so of civilization. We've been doing this for eons. We are the old Atlanteans come back. All of them aliens, them foreigners, the people that came from other places came here to learn from us.
Oh, wow.
We didn't go there to learn from them. They came here to learn from us. The Atlantis civilization, as they call it, was the global civilization of the planet. Earth was heaven then.
Okay.
The problem was that some of the people that came to learn from us felt like Christopher Columbus felt.
Uh-oh. Okay. How so?
These people are kind, they're generous. These women are the angels of the earth. They will be easy to conquer because they only have a few masculines. We see the crystals from the technology when we were Atlanteans. Feminine Shakti energy manifests through woman first as the energy that we refer to when we call it God. Creative energy. It's not masculine, it's feminine. The first incarnation of a hominid is a feminine who procreated for thousands of years until they decided to make men. They done it through parthogenesis. I replicate myself. Well, she got tired of looking at herself and all her sisters. She wanted to see what would the opposite polarity be. So let us make men kind of like us. Just knock his uterus out and hope he don't act like a broad. They have some women that's living right now that can parthogenically procreate. It's just that she don't do it because she was taught that she can't do it no more. So it ain't that she don't have the faculty, it's that she don't believe she have access to use the faculty. But it's a specific group of women. They have to have a specific mitochondrial connection, and they can reproduce mitochondrial energy. She can reproduce whatever is in her heart because it's a love frequency manifestation energy that we're dealing with.
But what about the Milky Way, the galaxies? That's a big mama too, right?
Yeah, that's just like her chakra. That might be her ankle chakra. If we go by the Egyptian doctrine where they teach us about the primordial moon, the infinite waters of the mother's womb, it's called the primordial moon, where you get your modern nuns from. The nuns were the original priestesses of the mother of the noon, which they called Aset.
Right.
Right? Because at noon, she sat down in her throne.
Okay.
Right? So they become the mirror reflection of the light because they used to wear white. But when they inverted the gender of the priesthood and usurped the women, they gave the high priestess white to the Pope.
Okay, come on. Now it's getting hot in here.
The Pope is your quintessential representative of your Jacobite, your underminer, your supplanter, who sits under the throne of the Great Mother. And they tell you a lie and tell you it's the throne of St. Peter. But the throne of St. Peter is in a whole different part of Europe. And there's nowhere that sides. So the first thing we have to do is see through the BS. The Pope been gone.
I knew you were going to say that. Where's my bomb drop? Like, I'm always there. I thought the same thing. Let me get it. Come on.
The Pope been gone. Look, they've been using an android in public, masquerading as this Pope. He been dead for some years.
Wow.
And you got to remember, before him was what? Pope Francis?
Right? He was Pope Francis. Before him was the Pope, the German one.
Was it Benedict?
The one, Benedict, yeah.
Right.
He was the Nazi one, remember?
Yeah. That's why he allegedly stepped down. It's a lifelong position. You cannot step down.
And I should say allegedly, YouTube. Don't mess with us. Go ahead. Sorry, Mr. Hayes.
You can't step down from the position of Pope. You only leave it by death.
Come on.
So they gave us Francis, because Francis is a talking mule.
Well, come on.
Right? For those who don't know who Francis the Talking Mule was, it's a sitcom from the 50s.
Oh, wow.
The mule is the symbol of the Democratic Party.
Right.
But we in a republic.
Make it make sense.
Now, when the symbol was the elephant and the donkey, is when it was the Democratic Republic Party, a political faction led by a talking ass. They tell us a story and they put it in the art and entertainment. If you look at the spirals going up through dimensions, the last time one was open was during the Anunnaki Wars. And they blew it to collapse the fourth dimension into the third, so we would require sleep.
Oh, okay.
But we would be stuck in what's called a permanent infinity loop, because nobody will ever figure out at the right time what we call the Muhurta, when the center of the universe is in direct alignment to the earth, to alert enough people to make the jump out of the infinity loop into the ascension loop.
When you talk about controlling the weather, I've seen people be able to like move, so-called move the clouds. Can we call these UAPs and move the clouds? Talk to us about that.
They only answer the ones with a specific blood iron ratio. Your blood iron is going to be the transmitter that activates your melanin for you to be the beacon. And you have to know the frequency to tune in to call them. Right? I don't call them because I don't want them come bothering me.
Right.
I'm earthborn. So if I call them, I'm giving them permission to be here and I want their ass gone.
Okay. Okay. So are they invaders? Are they invading us?
Yes, that's the invaders. They actually came through a portal from a mirror dimension.
Oh, okay.
They inverted. This is why they tried to create so much confusion in our families and our identities of self, because they are intrusions. They are inversions of what we are. The women that we have, 2X our women do. What look like a male to them has 2X's.
I believe that. I can see that.
What look like a female have an XY. I call them seahorses. And these are the ones who taught homosexuality to humans. The male temple prostitutes was when they was having breeding farms. This is modern interpretation of something that was going on in the ancient time. When you say that they were male temple prostitutes, they were studs.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm going to rent you this stud because this is my slave, Mount Hermon. They call it Mount Sinai, Mount Zion, the holy mountain. The mountain of the fallen ones. This is where they landed at. That wasn't a mountain, it was a launch pad.
I want to say thank you, Susu.
They went rogue and decided to go into business for themselves. That's what the whole story is. Semyaza and all that.
Semyaza, yeah. Book of Enoch.
Yeah. Because they decided to go into business because they wanted to conquer Earth, because under the galactic law, military conquest is permissible.
Okay, wow.
It's a free will universe, but you can be conquered and your universe can be changed depending on what god you fall under.
Can you talk to me a little bit about cryogenics?
They got that technology from the people that was under the ice in Antarctica. They was telepathically communicating with the scientists because they wanted to throw them out and preserve them alive. And the scientists couldn't figure out. So if you pay attention, cryogenics has been around since the 50s.
Yes.
Admiral Richard Byrd went to Antarctica about the 30s.
Yeah, I was going to say the 30s when he was in Antarctica.
Right. So when they found the people under the ice, they thawed them out. If you go on TikTok and type in Bashinga tribe, the backstory they gave us is they brought these people from Africa and turned them loose in Antarctica and they thrived. That's not the true story. The real story is they thawed them people out from under the ice and they was already used to being cold. So once they thawed them out, it wasn't difficult for them to adapt to conditions of the ice. And they was already at home. This is not new. The research into past life regression stuff is not new. It traces back to early hypnosis. Hypnosis is from the Kemetic priests. All of the Freudian psychology is from Bantu priests in Africa. If you look at Freud's desk, you see all of the African artifacts that they gave him so that we would know who he got his knowledge from in order to know that the workings of the mind was passed down for posterity. When you study Carl Jung, he's a hermeticist. He's teaching you psychology, but he's teaching you occult measures in his psychology. Wow. And it all traced back to over here. Because Kemet is a satellite for the sacerdotal seat of Isis, the Temple of Isis in Arizona. It was just set up as an outpost in a Hollywood reproduction of the sacred site, but it was really designed to watch over Sumer. Because they created what's called the Great Debauchery. A lot of us don't know what that is, but that's why the caduceus has been the most repeated, duplicated symbol in ancient times, because we had to go through a genetic reconstruction of a broken genetic chain.
Wow. You said Temple of Isis. You're talking about the Grand Canyon, correct?
That's where the original Temple of Isis is.